Compared to the release schedules of the past seasons, the sixth season of The Chosen will have a radically different release timetable. Immediately following its first major theatrical appearance, The Chosen Season 5 broke records at the box office. This was due to the fact that viewers came in droves to watch the episodes on the big screen. The Chosen: Last Supper, Part 1, which was released in about 2,000 theaters, earned $11.7 million in its opening weekend and shown that this franchise had the potential to be successful in the theater. Another theatrical release appears to be unavoidable given that the sixth season is now in the process of being developed. During a live question and answer session for The Chosen, the creator of the franchise, Dallas Jenkins, discussed the ideas that the producers have for the forthcoming season. In spite of the fact that he has always been extremely transparent on the path that each release will go, he says that he plans to be more reserved with these upcoming episodes. He believes that the release schedules have caused fans to have expectations that are not realistic, which has suffered the show's reception. The release window is something that he no longer wishes to discuss until it has been finalized. We've always been extremely transparent, monumentally, more so than any other movie or television show in history, so you get a peek behind the curtain, and sometimes with that comes like kind of our in real-time thoughts of, okay, we think it might come out at this time, and we're not sure. Well, I'm going to start reducing some of that now. Your access to the set, as well as your access to social media and all of that kind of stuff, and the behind the scenes, will not be restricted in any way. However, when it comes to releases, there is a great deal of confusion that arises as a consequence of this, and sometimes people have certain expectations that we are not going to continue doing that. No, I won't be providing you with any dates. We are not going to disclose dates until we have them locked in, so we are not going to talk about release schedules anymore until we have the date. I am not stating this in an aggressive manner, rather, I am just saying that we are not going to give dates until we have them locked in. In addition, Jenkins discussed the theatrical aspect of the show for the sixth season. Despite the fact that he did not confirm that the first several episodes will be adapted for the big screen, he did emphasize that the last episode would be released in theaters. In addition to this, he is of the opinion that the season will be a little longer than normal. In light of the fact that there have been some rumors in the past, I will clarify one thing regarding the sixth season. Here is what is going to take place. During the course of the following year, the first 6 episodes of the sixth season are scheduled to be released. Next year, it won't be early, and then there's the conclusion, which is going to be a theatrical event that is going to be seen all over the world. This will take place after the first 6 episodes have been made available to the public. At this point, there is going to be a gap of time between the 6th episode and the conclusion of the series. As I mentioned before, we do not have a good idea of when exactly that will take place. Nonetheless, I would like to provide some clarifications regarding what has been discussed in the past. There is no way that it can be considered its own thing. Not that the season is going to be any shorter than it already is. In point of fact, the season is definitely going to be a little bit longer than it normally is. He is now speaking. Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, has once again provided some fresh updates regarding the highly anticipated 6th season of the biblical series, and this time what he has to say is genuinely positive. Fans at least have something to look forward to, as Season 5 is scheduled to appear on Prime Video on June 15, following a financially beneficial run in theaters. We have known for some time that the next set of episodes will not be arriving anytime soon, but the fact that Season 5 is scheduled to arrive on Prime Video is a positive development. Jenkins disclosed during a live stream via ScreenRant that viewers may anticipate longer episodes of the 6th season, despite the fact that there has been no announcement regarding the release date of the 6th season. Keeping his cards close to his chest, the creator, director, and co-scribe of the show hinted at the imminent arrival of the 6th season by saying, Season 6, the first 6 episodes, are going to be coming out sometime next year. However, he later retracted his statement and said, it won't be early next year. Jenkins was walking a fine line because he wanted to keep fans excited about the drama while also keeping them grounded in reality. He didn't want fans to get their hopes up for some Kai at the same time. He did not want to discourage supporters from completely dismissing the 6th season, so he found a way to meet them in the middle and revealed, it's not like the season is going to be shorter. In point of fact, the season is going to be maybe a little bit longer than it normally would be. For a little under a month, the cameras have been rolling on the 6th season of The Chosen. Jenkins and the rest of the team have been working tirelessly throughout the night and day to offer fans what is arguably the most well-known story from the Bible. After what has become known as the Last Supper, the 5th season ultimately led viewers to the upper room with Jesus, Jonathan Roumie, and his followers. There, they broke bread and shared what is now commonly referred to as the Last Supper. The next scenario that would most likely lead into Season 6 will be Jesus' capture at the hands of the Romans, where he will then be carried to Pontius Pilate, Andrew James Allen, and subsequently killed. This will take place after Judas, played by Luke Dimian, has betrayed Jesus. As it progressed through its first 5 seasons, The Chosen swiftly became a phenomenon that was watched all over the world, attracting people without fail. Despite the fact that fans may be dissatisfied with the proximity of Season 6 to the release date, Jenkins has previously requested that they exercise patience, noting that the process of delivering these seasons to you at the cadence that we have been doing has been extremely taxing on the team, the coach said. The procedure of quality control has been far more efficient and stringent than the majority of shows and films. That has resulted in a great deal of suffering and a great deal of difficulties. The group of people who are working on this project are extremely overworked, and as a result, the process is being really challenging. They have been pleading with me to provide a little bit more of a buffer. As a result, we're going to make sure that we continue doing that for the upcoming seasons. Despite the fact that Last Supper, Part 3 completed its run as the lowest grossing of the group, fans are still interested to see what creator Dallas Jenkins has in store for them in the future. The Chosen recently closed up all 3 chapters of Season 5 in theaters. It has already been revealed by Prime Video that the 5th season will start streaming on the platform on June 15, but it appears that it will be quite some time before The Chosen is brought back to the big screen. Jenkins recently participated in a question and answer session to discuss the future of the franchise. When questioned about Season 6, he immediately responded with a release window for the first 6 episodes, which is as follows. So Season 6, one thing I will clear up, because there's been some rumors in the past. Here's what's happening. Season 6, the first 6 episodes, are going to be coming out sometime next year. It won't be early next year. It won't be early. In addition, he referred to the conclusion of Season 6 as a global theatrical event and affirmed that there will be a pause between the episodes of the first season of Season 6 and the episodes of the last batch of the season. Next, Jenkins brought everything to a close by announcing that Season 6 will be even lengthier than Season 5. We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but I'm just wanting to kind of clear up what's been talked about in the past. It's not like it's its own thing. It's not like the season's going to be shorter. In fact, the season's going to be probably a little longer than normal. Jonathan Roumie, who recently had a brief voice role in the animated series Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft on Netflix, is currently playing the lead role of Jesus Christ in The Chosen. Roumie is also a voice actor. Also well known for his work as a voice actor in video games, Roumie is best recognized for his roles in the games Saints Row, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Tsushima. Jordan Walker-Ross, who plays Little James, and Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, are both starring alongside him in the popular religious series. In addition, Shahar Isaac was chosen to portray the part of Simon Peter, while Paris Patel and Noah James were chosen to play the roles of Matthew and Andrew, respectively. Each and every episode of the series has been directed by Jenkins. It has been revealed that there would be at least 7 seasons of The Chosen, with the 5th season being published on Prime Video the next month and the 6th season being anticipated to be released the following year. The first 6 episodes of Season 6 are scheduled to air at some point in the year 2026, and it is possible that the last episodes may not be released in theaters until the year 2027. Eventually, they will be made available on Prime Video. In the present moment, there is a lack of information on The Chosen Season 7. However, it is highly probable that the 7th season of the series will not be released until the latter half of the year 2027, or potentially even later than that, in the year 2028, or even later. Also in the works are a number of spin-offs based on the Chosen franchise. On June 15, Prime Video will begin streaming the 5th season of The Chosen. Keep an eye on Collider for further updates and coverage of Season 6 and related topics in the future. Jenkins did provide some important information regarding the upcoming season, despite the fact that he intends to avoid discussing release timings any further. Despite the fact that he stated unequivocally it won't be early next year, it is still feasible that the release may take place in the summer or late 2026. Due to the fact that Jenkins is currently working diligently on The Chosen's biblical universe, it is, unfortunately, possible that the premiere of the season may be delayed until the year 2027. Due to the fact that there are multiple other shows currently in development, it may be difficult for the main series to acquire the resources that are required to guarantee an early release schedule. Despite this, Jenkins addressed the cause for the continuous delay by referring to other Hollywood films that have been released in recent times. It has becoming increasingly common for high-budget television shows to wait 2 years between seasons. For example, Stranger Things, House of the Dragon, and The Boys each have a wait time of several years. It is possible that the budget for this series has experienced a similar growth with each successive episode, given that the amount of attention that has been paid to this series has been growing since the first season. Given that Jenkins must now satisfy a more diverse audience, it is highly likely that the theatrical approach will just serve to make that problem more apparent. It is unfortunate that in this day and age of social media, transparency regarding productions would only serve to encourage conjecture over the causes for delays and other challenges associated to the production. It is possible for Jenkins to ensure that people will not become outraged in the event that the program experiences a setback and requires additional time to produce the following episodes if he refrains from setting dates. Because it is necessary to make preparations in accordance with theatrical releases, the show's timetable has become even more problematic. Although it is a move that is necessary, the reduction of openness on the release window for The Chosen is a step that is disappointing. Fans of The Chosen will have to exercise patience before they are able to witness what happens next, because the show is now on its way to Calvary. Despite the fact that the 5th season of the cultural phenomenon is still being shown in theaters, people are already aware of what is coming up next: the crucifixion. It is anticipated that the 6th season would delve into the most emotionally intense and saddest phase of Jesus' story to reach this point. However, the precise time at which it will arrive is still a mystery, and it is not a pleasant one. According to Dallas Jenkins, the creator and director of the series, The Chosen has always been planned out as a trip that will take place over the course of 7 seasons. In a prior statement he stated, "We plotted out 7 seasons and planned where we were going from the beginning." This indicates that there will be 2 more chapters, but the chronology has only become lengthier, longer than usual. There was a revelation made by Jenkins and the team at ChosenCon 2024 in September of last year that the debut of Season 6 will not take place until 2027, and that Season 7 will follow in 2028. According to the pattern of Seasons 4 and 5, both seasons are anticipated to make their debuts with special theatrical releases. Among the films that will be included in this format is The Last Supper, which has been performing exceptionally well at the box office. Therefore, it is true that it will take place, but it won't take place until at least 2 years from now, which is a very upsetting thing to hear. Patience is a virtue because Season 6 will present the most emotionally demanding. Fans may find this lengthy wait to be frustrating, Jesus Christ but patience is a virtue because of this significant event. It is the current alliance between The Chosen and Amazon Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios that presents the most significant challenge in this situation. Some fans are holding out hope that Amazon's resources, as well as their intentions for a global theatrical rollout, might potentially speed up the process. This is due to the fact that the timeline that was disclosed at ChosenCon was before that arrangement. Despite the fact that there has not been any official update to the release timetable as of yet, it is important to keep a watch on it. While The Chosen Last Supper is nearing the end of its theatrical run and Season 5 is almost ready to be released on streaming services, it is possible that additional announcements will cause the timing to alter. However, as of right now, the most accurate prediction is that Season 6 will be released in the year 2027, and it will be well worth the wait. Every single episode of The Chosen Season 5 is presently being shown in theaters across the country. Continue to check back with Collider for additional details regarding the future of The Chosen as we move closer to the conclusion of the 2 seasons of the biblical saga. With 3 sections of the same film released over the course of 3 weeks, followed by the release of the whole trilogy together around Easter weekend, Dallas Jenkins' The Chosen franchise has made its debut at the box office in 2025 with an intriguing and novel premise. In the wake of the unmistakable success of Last Supper, Part 1 and Last Supper, Part 2, The Chosen, Last Supper, Part 3 made its debut at the box office over the most recent weekend. It earned a respectable $5.8 million from a total of just 2,292 theaters throughout the country, placing it 6th in the weekend rankings. As a result of this remarkable beginning, the entire trilogy has now reached yet another milestone, reaching the $35 million mark. This is due to the fact that the first installment brought in $19.1 million and the second installment brought in $10.6 million total. This comes just 1 week before the special event in which the trilogy is published in its entirety, and it comes after the entire franchise recently reached the milestone of $100 million in combined revenue. At a time when the box office appears to be struggling, this success has occurred at a time when several big-name productions, such as Captain America, Brave New World and Snow White, have been really underperforming despite the enormous franchise backing they have received. A significant amount of critical acclaim has been bestowed upon The Chosen, Last Supper trilogy in addition to the fact that it has been a commercially successful trilogy. The most current installment of the trilogy has received a score of 98% on the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, which is a remarkable accomplishment that no other trilogy can claim to have accomplished. 2 of the 3 installments in the trilogy have received the same 99% rating. In light of the fact that additional success is sure to follow, and the fact that another faith-based film, The King of Kings, has achieved a second-place finish in its opening weekend at the box office, it would appear that there is no better time than the present year for religious films. Nothing can quite come close to the enormous success of a Minecraft movie, with the video game adaptation taking the struggling 2025 box office by the scruff of its neck and dragging it to success. The Chosen, Last Supper trilogy is without a doubt one of the most successful stories of the current box office landscape, but nothing can match the enormous triumph of a Minecraft movie. As a result of yet another successful domestic weekend, a Minecraft movie was able to earn an additional $80 million in the United States alone, bringing the total amount of money earned by the film to more than $550 million. Not only is it currently the highest-grossing film of the year up to this point, but it is also now in the top 100 highest-grossing live-action films of all time around the globe. Fans of the biblical drama The Chosen are being urged by Dallas Jenkins, the show's creator, to please be patient while they wait for the release of the 6th season of the show. On the heels of the theatrical release of The Chosen Season 5, Jenkins stated that fans are already waiting to watch the next season of the series. However, he requested that fans who are thrilled for the program display patience and grace while the cast and crew are working on the show. During a webcast that took place on Sunday evening, Jenkins stated, "We have received a great number of inquiries, and some individuals have expressed confusion, and then some individuals have expressed disappointment regarding the release plans for seasons 6 and 7. With regard to the future, Jenkins has stated that he will publish less updates on release dates. This is done in order to avoid disappointing and confusing supporters." Jenkins stated, "We have always been extremely transparent. I am going to start reducing some of that now." He went on to say, "I am not going to reduce your access to the set and your access to social media and all that kind of stuff." He went on to say, "However, when it comes to releases, there is a great deal of confusion that arises as a consequence of this transparency, and there are times when people have certain expectations. We are not going to give dates until we have them locked in. It is for this reason that we are not going to discuss release schedules anymore until we have the date in hand." Jenkins disclosed only a few specifics regarding the 6th season of the series, but he did reveal the anticipated release date and timetable. Additionally, he disclosed that the rapid expansion of the series has slowed down the rate at which they are able to produce the show. Jenkins stated, "We're doing a lot of this from scratch, and so it just takes time, and it's very difficult. Therefore, we ask that you please be patient with us as we get through that. As The Chosen has progressed through each season, it has become an increasingly popular phenomenon all around the world. The team of The Chosen has seen that it is becoming increasingly challenging to keep up with the rapid release pace of past seasons, while also reaching a significantly larger audience. As a result, the 6th season will take a little bit longer to finish and will be released to audiences. That, of course, then pushes the post-production process as well, Jenkins said during the livestream. Season 6 is going to take us longer to film than any season we've ever done, by a significantly larger margin. Please be grateful for the fact that we try to get it to you as soon as possible. Be grateful for the fact that the show has grown and gotten bigger, and that we are trying to satisfy the needs of everyone around the world, he continued. Thank you for your appreciation. CT2. How the show The Chosen intends to reach 1 billion individuals all around the world. In response to questions from viewers regarding the 5th season of The Chosen, Dallas Jenkins has stated that he considers it an obligation to make each new season available to audiences all over the world at the same time. However, the process of translating and dubbing each season into dozens of other languages is another time-consuming procedure. According to Jenkins, the process of getting these seasons to you at the cadence that we've been doing has been extraordinarily taxing on the team. Jenkins also stated that the quality control process has been much faster and tighter than most shows and movies. This has resulted in a great deal of discomfort and a great deal of difficulties. Jenkins is of the opinion that the production of the series should be slowed down in order to increase the overall quality of the series and to prevent any faults from occurring. Additionally, the team needs to take a break. The team that works on this is extraordinarily stretched thin, and so it's just a very, very difficult process. They've been begging me to give a little bit more of a cushion, and so we're going to definitely be doing that for future seasons, Jenkins said. We're going to definitely be doing that for future seasons. Fans may look forward to special events such as Chosen Con, as well as The Chosen Adventures, The Chosen in the Wild with Bear Grylls, and other spin-off series during the time period between seasons 5 and 6 of The Chosen. There will still be a continuous supply of content from 5 and 2 studios during this time period. According to Jenkins, the 6th season of The Chosen would be released somewhere in the latter half of the year 2026. However, there are no official release dates for the season. In response to your question, Jenkins stated, "Season 6 will come. We will tell you the dates when we know them." Jenkins added that the 6th season of the biblical drama will also be probably a little longer than normal in terms of the number of episodes. The past 5 seasons of the series each consist of 8 episodes. In addition to this, it will have a theatrical release schedule that is unlike any other. The first 6 episodes are expected to be released in theaters in the latter half of 2026, and then there will be a lengthy pause before the final episodes are published in what Jenkins has described as a global theatrical event at the time. As was previously reported by the Deseret News, the filming of the 6th season of The Chosen began in Texas in the middle of April, immediately following the theatrical release of episode 5 of the 5th season. They will be filming at the Motion Picture Studio South Campus in Goshen, Utah, which is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The cast and crew of The Chosen will travel there in the month of May to do their duties. Fans of The Chosen are already eager for the next installment and are asking when Season 6 will be released. Season 5 of The Chosen recently concluded its powerful run, ending with the emotionally charged depiction of the Last Supper. Dallas Jenkins, the creator of the series, wants you to know that patience is the key while you are waiting for Season 6 of The Chosen. The action has already begun, as the filming of the 6th season is presently happening. However, Jenkins has cautioned that Season 6 may take longer than previous seasons, but he has reassured fans that they should not be concerned about this. The action has already begun, but it may take a little bit longer to simmer before it is published. Jenkins has provided an explanation for the postponement of Season 6 and explained why you should not be concerned about the situation. The process of getting these seasons to you at the cadence that we've been doing has been extraordinarily taxing on the team, Jenkins stated in an interview. The quality control process has been much faster and tighter than most shows and movies. That has caused a lot of pain, a lot of challenges. Jenkins also mentioned that the team has been experiencing a lot of difficulties. In addition, he stated that his staff is deserving of additional breathing room, particularly as the degree of difficulty and magnitude of the production increases. According to him, the team that works on this is extraordinarily stretched thin, and as a result, it's just a very, very difficult process. He goes on to state, "They've been begging me to give a little bit more of a cushion, and as a result, we're going to definitely be doing that for future seasons." After Season 5 came to a spectacular end with The Last Supper, it's likely that Season 6 will take on a much darker tone, charting the final days of the life of Jesus. Jenkins adds that he and the team are working hard to bring this section of the story to life. Jenkins expressed his gratitude by saying, "Please be grateful for the fact that we try to get it to you as soon as possible. Be grateful for the fact that the show has grown and gotten bigger, and that we are trying to satisfy the needs of everyone around the world." Amazon MGM has signed a deal with The Chosen to make Prime Video the go-to streaming service for all of the seasons that are currently available, as well as the upcoming ones. Additionally, Amazon MGM will be the distributor of the theatrical release of Season 6 and Season 7. If you are wondering where you can catch up on previous seasons of The Chosen and where you can tune in for Seasons 6 and 7, the answer is easier than it has ever been. There is currently a production of Season 6 with the original cast continuing in their roles, with Jonathan Roumie playing the role of Jesus. The show is a massive success among viewers, as many fans are aware. It has been viewed over 600 million times across all platforms, which demonstrates the global impact of the story. The Chosen is now available to watch in more than 50 languages, making it even more accessible to people all over the world. Although there is not much else known about the upcoming season at this time, you should make sure to sit tight and wait for its release. It will be well worth the wait. The ambitious biblical epic series The Chosen has already completed 5 compelling seasons so far, and the show has been renewed for a 6th and 7th season as well. The Chosen was created by filmmaker Dallas Jenkins in 2017, and it is the first show to attempt to tell the biblical story of the life of Jesus across a massive multi-season arc. The Chosen brings familiar stories from the Bible to life with an approach that is historical but faith-based. The Chosen quickly began to pick up steam as the independently produced program was viewed by an increasing number of people all over the world via streaming services. In a truly unique approach to television production, The Chosen was crowdfunded during its first season, but quickly blossomed into a massive enterprise due to a worldwide outpouring of support. Subsequent seasons saw theatrical releases before being available to stream online, and the little show that could even nabbed international distribution through Lionsgate. Now, Season 5 has begun to take the story into the latter days of Jesus' life, with The Last Supper and Jesus' betrayal being the primary focus. In order to complete the story, The Chosen has been scripted out across 7 installments, both of which are already confirmed. After years of rights issues regarding streaming, the latest news confirms that The Chosen has landed a new streaming home via IndieWire. Because the show was made available to stream in so many different locations online, the biblical epic was mired in rights issues as the show began to become more popular. Now, Amazon MGM has inked a deal that will make Prime Video the exclusive home to all 5 seasons of the show thus far, as well as the upcoming 6th and 7th seasons that are coming soon. In reality, the agreement between Dallas Jenkins' 5 and 2 studios and Amazon MGM is much more comprehensive. It will include the streaming rights to the upcoming reality series The Chosen in the Wild with Bear Grylls, and it may also include future projects. Additionally, it will make Amazon MGM the distributor for the theatrical releases of seasons 6 and 8 of the show. Unlike most TV shows which rely on a network of streaming platforms to renew or cancel them, The Chosen's independent production model means the series will get made if it has funding. With money no longer an object for the blockbuster theatrical and streaming hit, Dallas Jenkins' promise to tell a 7-season story is most likely going to be kept. This means that Season 6 is confirmed, though production details are scant for the moment. With the focus still very much on the theatrical release of Season 5, it will likely take a while for news regarding Season 6 to surface. The show has been on an almost yearly clip since 2019, and despite being an independent production, has had few problems when it comes to delivering new episodes in a timely manner. This means that 2026 is the most logical release window for The Chosen Season 6, and with added help from a major distributor like Amazon MGM, it's an entirely realistic production timeline. Predicting the cast of The Chosen Season 6 isn't particularly difficult since it has maintained a consistent ensemble since Season 1. With Jesus at the heart of the story, it's certain that Jonathan Roumie will be back to play the central figure once again. Jesus' apostles have stuck by his side for 5 seasons thus far, including Shahar Isaac as Simon, George Xanthis as John, Paris Patel as Matthew, and Jordan Walker-Ross as Little James, to name a few. However, it remains to be seen if Season 5 will show the inevitable end of Luke Dimian's Judas, so it's unclear if he'll be back in Season 6. Because The Chosen is based on the stories told within the Bible, it is quite easy to figure out what comes next in the timeline. Dallas Jenkins laid out his 7-season plan that includes the basic framework for Seasons 6 and 7, which will be the final 2 outings for the main series. With Season 5 covering the Last Supper and Jesus' eventual betrayal, Season 6 is going to concern his crucifixion and death. This will perhaps be the biggest challenge for The Chosen thus far, as nearly every portrayal of Jesus' execution needs to be appropriately harrowing. However, The Chosen has always been a somewhat family-friendly series, and it remains to be seen how they will approach such a violent part of the tale. Previous adaptations like The Passion of the Christ have leaned into the horrific elements, but the series will probably offer a somewhat tamer approach. Regardless, The Chosen Season 6 will largely serve to set up the story of Season 7, which is planned to cover Jesus' resurrection and eventual ascension to heaven. The announcement that The Chosen is planning to release its 6th season during a certain window of time is both good and bad for the show's passionate followers. It has been confirmed that the crucifixion of Jesus will be depicted in the 6th season of the global hit series, which began filming on April 14. However, while it was previously anticipated that Season 6 would be released in 2027, Dallas Jenkins, the director and showrunner of The Chosen, announced during a 2-hour livestream that Season 6 will most likely be released sometime in 2026. Still, Jenkins warned that this release window is not guaranteed. And if the next season does, in fact, debut in 2026, fans shouldn't expect the same timeframe as Seasons 4 and 5, which both premiered in time for the Easter holidays. Furthermore, the director teased that the Season 6 finale will be a global theatrical event that will follow the release of the season's first 6 episodes. Furthermore, despite the fact that a probable launch in 2026 is earlier than what was previously anticipated, it is still later than the premieres of more recent seasons of the show that is led by Jonathan Roumie. Dallas Jenkins claims that the reason for this is due to the anticipation that Season 6 will take place longer to film than any season we've ever done. Season 6 is going to take us longer to film than any season we've ever done by far, so that of course then pushes the post-production process as well. Furthermore, the foreign releases and translation process of The Chosen, in addition to the responsibilities that are expected of a team that operates independently from a large studio, are all contributing factors that are causing the debut to be delayed. This chronology is one that the show wants to duplicate for future seasons. Not only did the director acknowledge how they have been stretched thin, but they also acknowledged that they already have been. The crew that is working on this is extremely overworked, and as a result, the process is just something that is quite challenging. They have been pleading with me to provide a modicum more cushion than they already have. As a result, we're going to make sure that we continue doing that for the upcoming seasons. Another manner in which The Chosen Season 6 is apart from the seasons that came before it is that it takes on the emotionally taxing task of depicting the crucifixion of Jesus. The Chosen made the announcement in February 2025 that Amazon Prime Video would be the exclusive third-party streaming platform for upcoming seasons and the upcoming project slate of 5 and 2 studios. Additionally, Amazon MGM Studios will collaborate with The Chosen for future global theatrical release events, including the Season 6 final. Other publications that are connected to the series are on the horizon, despite the fact that the penultimate chapter of The Chosen will not be available to viewers until a later date in 2026 at the earliest. To begin, it has been revealed that the 5th season of The Chosen will make its premiere exclusively on Amazon Prime Video on June 15. Subsequently, after a transition period of 90 days, fresh episodes will be made available to watch for free on the Chosen app. This year is also expected to see the debut of The Chosen's first spin-offs and side projects. In addition to The Chosen in the Wild with Bear Grylls, 5 and 2 Studios is also releasing The Chosen Adventures, an animated series aimed at children that features the vocal talents of many of The Chosen's cast members. One of the reasons why this project is appealing is that it allows The Chosen to continue telling stories even after the main show has concluded its final season. Dallas Jenkins, the director of The Chosen, has stated that the 6th season will not adhere to the regular release timetable. Season 6 will not be ready by the time spring or early summer rolls around next year, in contrast to the other seasons, which have all been released in the first part of consecutive years. Jenkins stated in a livestream on Sunday that everything is just taking longer this season. He went on to say that Season 6 is going to take us longer to film than any season we've ever done, by a significant margin. This, of course, then pushes the post-production process behind as well. The season, which depicts the crucifixion of Jesus, will be translated into a great number of languages and will take place at a number of different film locations. According to Jenkins, we're trying to release as many languages at one time as we can. That takes a lot of time. The translation, the dubbing, and the subtitling, all of that takes a very long time, Jenkins stated. The crew has requested that the project be postponed because they have been having trouble meeting the same release schedule since the beginning of the project. The quality control process has been much faster and tighter than most shows and movies, the director of the Teddy Bear Award-winning show explained. That's caused a lot of pain, a lot of challenges. The team that works on this is extraordinarily stretched thin, and so it's just a very, very difficult process. One more issue that is dragging it down is the fact that Dallas Jenkins directs it entirely by himself, in contrast to other popular programs that have multiple directors. The statement that he made was as follows: "We are trying to do it as quickly as we possibly can. We are not owned by some big studio. We do not have $1 billion at our disposal to make all of this work. We are doing this, a lot of this, from scratch, and so it just takes time, and it is very difficult. Please be patient with us as we get through that." The 6th season is now being filmed, and night shootings are taking place from 7 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. Jenkins assured the audience that the team is persisting in its efforts to deliver it as quickly as we possibly can, and that they require the supporters' patience. Dallas Jenkins expressed his gratitude to the audience by saying, "Please be grateful for the fact that we try to get it to you as soon as possible. Be grateful for the fact that the show has grown and gotten bigger, and that we are trying to satisfy the needs of everyone around the world." Crosswalk reports that it's possible that the first 6 episodes could come out in the latter half of 2026, with the rest of the episodes releasing in 2027. However, at 2024's Chosen Con, Jenkins said Season 6 won't come out until 2027, with Season 8 coming out the following year, Collider reported. The Chosen Season 6 is confirmed, and it is set to continue the 7-season plan that creator Dallas Jenkins announced from the start. Unlike traditional network shows, The Chosen operates independent. Jenkins has stated that the next season will focus on Jesus' crucifixion, which will set up Season 7 for the resurrection. As of right now, official production announcements for Season 6 are limited. However, pre-production work has likely begun, and it is anticipated that casting and filming will follow in 2025. Season 5 is currently making its debut in theaters. There has been no official announcement regarding the launch date of The Chosen Season 6, but previous production cycles indicate that it will take place in the year 2026. Season 5 followed a similar pattern, with its premiere taking place in theaters in March of 2025, followed by its streaming on Prime Video a few months later. Given the significance of the crucifixion, which is the subject matter of Season 6, it is anticipated that the release window will be during the Lent or Easter period of 2026. This schedule is consistent with prior releases that were religiously significant and would enable a global theater rollout before the show is made available on streaming services. This deal ensures that Season 6 will first have a theatrical run before landing on Prime Video, followed by a potential free release on the Chosen app after the exclusivity window has passed. The Chosen secured an exclusive streaming deal with Amazon MGM in March 2025, as reported by IndieWire. This deal also makes Prime Video the primary home for all future seasons of the show. The upcoming film The Chosen in the Wild starring Bear Grylls will also be distributed by Amazon MGM, which suggests that the two companies will work together on several projects over the long term. One of the most dramatic and significant events that will take place during the series will be the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, which will be the primary emphasis of The Chosen Season 6. Dallas Jenkins has outlined a structured storytelling approach, with Season 5 covering the Last Supper and Jesus' betrayal, leading directly into Season 6's intense depiction of Good Friday. Expect significant moments such as Jesus' trial before Pontius Pilate, his journey to Golgotha, and the harrowing execution itself. Jenkins has stated that he wants to strike a balance between emotional impact and accessibility, working to ensure that the portrayal is powerful while not being overly disturbing for younger audiences. Since the series has traditionally maintained a family-friendly approach, it is currently unknown how graphically the crucifixion will be depicted. In past seasons of The Chosen, filming typically lasted for around 3 months, followed by substantial post-production. It is anticipated that production on the 6th season of the show will begin in the middle to late year 2025. Recent social media activity by Jenkins shows that extras are already being recruited for upcoming scenes, which reinforces the likelihood of a production schedule for the year 2025. If this follows the trends that have occurred in the past, filming may begin by the middle of 2025, which would ultimately ensure a theatrical release by the beginning of 2026. The 5th season of The Chosen proved to be an emotional rollercoaster for the cast, as revealed in a candid chat with Reach Screen Time. Shahar Isaac and Vanessa Benavented, who portray Peter and Mary respectively, shared insights into their characters' harrowing journeys as they navigate the tumultuous events leading up to Jesus of Nazareth's, Jonathan Roumie, betrayal and crucifixion, reports the Mirror US. The experience was described by Isaac as heartbreaking, and he went into detail about how the disciples went from being warmly embraced by the masses to suddenly finding themselves in danger within the first couple of episodes of the Bible series. He also went into Peter's personal collapse this season, saying, "I'm collapsing a little bit in this season." The arc is starting from very, very high and crashing very, very low. He commented further on Peter's trajectory, which sees him ascend to leadership only to plummet into despair. He said, "The arc is starting and crashing very, very low." Additionally, he alluded to the uncertainty that Peter is experiencing by saying, "I stay in that limbo and wonder if I chose the right path, and if this was all a mistake, and the rest we will find out in seasons 6 and 7. He was implying that future events will take place. When asked about the complicated feelings that her character experiences, Benaventis said, "For me and Mary, the hardest challenge was striking that balance between supporting your son no matter what and dealing with the inevitable heartbreak of knowing his end is near and that you have to prepare yourself to say goodbye." Benaventis was referring to the fact that her character is attempting to reconcile the experience of unwavering support for her son with the agony of his impending fate. "I believe that she is navigating these waters where she wants to be with him as much as possible and spend every moment with him. But at the same time, that means that she is going to be a witness to some really sad moments that also come." She cautioned that Mother Mary would be going to very dark places in the 5th season as she struggles to come to terms with the death of her son and begins slowly learning to say goodbye. It is anticipated that the 5th season of The Chosen, a biblical epic created by Dallas Jenkins, will be the most ambitious season to date. The episodes of this season will be separated into 3 parts and shown in theaters all over the world. The Last Supper will represent the dramatic arrest of Jesus as he confronts the established order and attempts to propagate his teachings. The Chosen. The Last Supper will be released in May of this year. The disciples of Jesus are left in utter disarray, the meaning of Jesus' teachings not being fully understood until it is too late. The phrase "a version that hasn't been seen before" was used by Isaac to imply that the Last Supper will be portrayed in a manner that had not previously seen. There is a dreamlike quality to the Last Supper, and we catch it in different moments and snippets, he explained, revealing that the filming was a very intimate affair that took place over the course of a week of night shots. Benevent expressed his excitement about the upcoming sixth season, stating that it would be the final goodbye that Mother Mary would say to Jesus before he ascended into heaven. Despite the fact that seasons 6 and 7 of The Chosen have been given the go-ahead, the show's creator, Jenkins, has asked viewers to be patient as work on the new season continues. Fans will be able to watch the 5th season of the show on the big screen in the meanwhile, and the series will eventually be made available on a number of different streaming platforms, including the Chosen app.